This is such a pretty time of the evening. The sun shines across where the garden is. It's all shady up by the house. Shines across down here. We've got some cold weather coming for several nights. And so while I did supper dishes, a whole bunch of the kids ran down and they covered up stuff in the garden. And unfortunately it's a little windy. Always seems to be windy when we're trying to cover stuff. But I want to come down here and see what they did. We've got some stuff we don't want to get frosted. Got a few flowers blooming. I don't think the frost will hurt them. I hope not. We're not covering the flowers. Got some more over here. And the clematis is, we just tied that up. And there's another bunch of tulips here. So pretty. Each of the girls has a section in the flower garden. Okay, so what we've got here are strawberry beds, and they are blooming and they have little strawberries on them. And I want to show you what we cover with. Now, I do have hoops, and I told the kids not to put hoops on, just to lay the covers across, and that should be fine. And they're weighting them down with T-posts. And I use this is heavyweight, just called row cover. And I used to get it from Farm Tech. I've gotten it from other places. The last time I ordered, a couple years ago, I just got it off of Amazon. And it lasts, if you take care of it, it'll last several years. Eventually it gets holes in it. But we try to be really careful with it because I don't want to buy it all the time. And for us, with what we do is starting stuff really early and then wanting to cover fruit that is in bloom, it's well worth the cost. So I can show you here, we've got a couple beds that are prepared for broccoli. We haven't put them in yet. I actually got some broccoli plants from a farm store the other day, and then we ran out of time, didn't get to plant them. So over here are the long strawberry beds. This is where we're moving all the strawberries to. So these beds will be extended a little further down, and then they'll go this way. Do you see how green that grass is? I have very healthy grass in what is becoming the new garden area. And I'll show you right down here, the very, very healthy grass is where we ran the chickens. See that? Well, I wanted to put some good soil, you know, start getting the soil good by running the chickens, and you can tell that it has. We have mulched a pretty big section of this with old hay from the cows after moving the cows off a field, picking up the hay. But we have a lot more mulching to do, and I want to see how the kids did down here with the blueberries, because I do not want my blueberries zapped. Now this is the thin row cover, and this is what they chose to put on the blueberries. I might see if I've got some more of the thicker stuff. It's possible though that they were running out of stuff. I might work on this a little bit myself. I had to do the dishes and get the younger kids in bed, so I am out here now though to make sure things don't get frosted. All right, let me look at the rest of everything. This is our early bean bed. We always plant a couple rows of beans super early, and you know, they don't sprout as well this time of year, but we always get a fairly decent percent that come up, and we're always really glad because we're eating beans really early. So none of them have actually sprouted yet, but we wanted to cover the soil. And then I told Ava, who's the potato girl, to get these little pots. We had a whole bunch of these in the garden shed, and I did not realize so many of her potatoes had come up. I thought only a few had, but apparently a lot of potatoes had come up. So she came back to the house and told me she didn't have enough pots, and it looks like they put row cover over part of her bed. And I told her to just go ahead and take the dirt and cover the little potato sprouts with dirt. So I think that's like what she's done right there. And this is fantastic. I didn't know so many potatoes would come up. And the truth is, yeah, we don't want them to get frosted, but if they do get zapped, they will resprout because the root will be fine. We're not supposed to have a super bad frost. Just several nights around like mid 30s, and I think tonight it's actually supposed to get down to 30. And usually if the weather says like 35 or 37 in town, it frosts here. So I'm gonna figure we're having several nights of frost. These are the peas. We've had to put some chicken wire around the outside of them because we kept having rabbits eating them off. So we've got peas planted on either side of the cattle panels. 2 rows of those, and peas can take frost, no problem there. More strawberry beds. And then the blackberries are starting to leaf out, and the raspberries and grapes, but they're not blooming, so that's not a problem. Over here, we do have some lettuce. And I think the lettuce will be fine because it's not a super hard frost. All right, I'm gonna work on those blueberries a little more down there. I do not want our small crop to be no crop at all. And then in a couple days, I'm gonna leave everything covered for a couple days here. And then in a couple days when we uncover it, I'll show you how everything came through. The sun is just sinking over there. It is definitely getting cold out here, and doesn't seem real windy right now, but it's a little bit breezy. So, all right, we'll see how this turns out in a few days. This is the last strawberry bed that we uncovered, and they came through the frost great. All the strawberries did. We got a few blooms that the strawberries turned black, but most of them, the strawberries are still really yellow, which means that they're fine. They didn't get hit by the frost. And we have a lot of blooms right now, and actually we got quite a few berries right now. We're going to have early strawberries because we had such a warm February and beginning of March. It's colder now than it had been a couple weeks ago. So I'm thrilled with how the strawberries have come through. Okay, so these are the onions, which of course the frost did not hurt, but Clara's going to do a little mulching on them just because we do like to mulch all our plants. And we've got some chopped up leaves she's going to mulch with. Over on this side, Ava's potatoes came through the frost really well. A couple of them got hit just a tiny bit, like this one right here. You can see where it's dark, but that's all right. That won't hurt it at all. And more potatoes are coming up. And since we have a couple days of rain and then we're going to have 3 more nights of frost, I told Ava that what we need to do is just cover all the potatoes with dirt. Basically just go ahead and hill them. So she's going through her whole bed and she's just pulling a little dirt over each potato, and that will protect them from the frost. The rain will be great for them, and then the dirt on top of each one will keep them from frosting, and they'll just sprout right back through that dirt and keep on growing. So she's going through. It should only take her a few minutes to cover each one. Then Clara here is just mulching her onions. They're particular about how much moisture they have. They like to have an even amount of moisture. So the chopped up leaves and grass clippings kind of help with that.